Steve Spagnuolo has a lot of options on the table and a lot of choices to make. He's bringing a ton of energy, and he's got a lot of guys out there that could make it and could not. Let's talk about what's going on in Chiefs camp with Steve Spagnuolo and the Chiefs defense. Welcome back to RGR. Hope you guys are enjoying training camp so far. Steve Spagnuolo really does have the biggest task in front of him right now as they try to get up to speed and ready for the regular season. I'm Ryan. This is me going wrong on the NFL and the Kansas City Chiefs. And if you're new here, make sure you click that subscription button as well as the notifications. Leave a thumbs up if you like this video and leave your comment below because the conversation around here really is what it's all about. Steve, as he's come into this particular position, has a lot of pressure on him, and a lot of things have to change, but he is walking in the door, and despite heat and long hours, he's pretty excited.
All right, look, I'm not going to take too much time. I would say this. I can't tell you how excited I am to be at training camp. I mean, I love training camp. I always have, right from the beginning when I was with Andy, and we used to go to Lehigh University in Philadelphia, so I'm happy with the way the guys are working. Got a long way to go, a lot of mistakes, but we'll get them fixed up. So with that, I'll open it up. I'm like a little kid. That's how I feel. You know, I feel 12 again. Sometimes I act 12, but no, I'm loving it. And part of that is being with Andy again, and quite frankly, this group of players, a good group of guys to work with.
Now, I think those two clips give you an idea of what Steve Spagnuolo is about and how he goes about his job. And that's great because he's got to lead an entire diverse group of both positional needs, athletes, personalities, all kinds of things that go into making up a defensive unit that has to come together and has to do it fast. This Super Bowl window is open now. They have to try to compete and keep up with the offense, who's really going to put a lot of pressure on them with how quickly they're able to score. So this is a pretty tall task, but he's already got buy-in from a lot of players. In fact, one of them is pulling some double duty to try and get up to speed.
Yeah, now Chris is a little bit behind. I mean, he'd tell you the same thing, but I'll tell you what, I saw him the other night. We have a 9:35 staff meeting with Coach Reed. And after that meeting, he grabbed Coach Daly to get extra. So that tells me, you know, he's a prideful guy and he wants to learn it. So I'm happy with that. It'll take a little while for him to get up to speed, but we'll get him there.
Now, that's good news to hear about Chris Jones and the fact that he's ready to work and trying to get caught up so that he can be effective as possible. And he's motivated all the way around. Wants to win a Super Bowl, will earn himself another contract or a franchise tag. So there's a lot on the line for him as well. But to get that kind of immediate buy-in, it really does speak to the personality of the head coach and the guy who's leading the way, and as well as the assistants, Brendan Daly and Matt House in particular, who's working with the linebackers that a lot of folks tend to overlook because of the pass-happy league that we look at today. But it's more significant than a lot of people think.
Yeah, I'll tell you what. First of all, Matt House is doing a great job with them. What I like about that whole group, I think there's a bunch of pros in that room. By that I mean they take it real seriously and they're really prideful about knowing it. Look at the guys in the middle, the linebackers, they connect the D linemen to the DBs. They got to be spot on. Anthony Hitchens has been doing a great job. Reggie, Damian Wilson, all of those guys have been terrific. So I'm really impressed with that.
Now, you've heard me talk about my philosophy on the podcast before that the linebacker level really ties everything together, and it's something where I really look to begin at that level to build a defense. Now, this in particular, this defense already had those linebackers mostly set. The arrival of Damian Wilson is a specific role to that sandbacker that they really didn't have on the roster beforehand. But with Reggie Ragland and Anthony Hitchens running with the ones that kind of had those things in place, so they moved on to bigger fish. And we've talked a lot about the secondary cornerbacks and the personnel back there, and we'll talk about them again next week. But it's the front that is really specific because it's something that Steve Spagnuolo has had a lot of success with in the past. When he has a good pass rush, a healthy rotational pass rush in particular, he's found a lot of success in this league, and I think that's one of the things that they predicated their offseason plan on. And he's gotten buy-in from a big star, and I think somebody that's going to help shape the rest of the defense as well.
Fun's a good word. He likes to have fun. Look at the guys that are secure, confident, in their abilities and what they're doing. They go out and have fun. I just embraced them just a little bit ago because they battled the O-line and D-line today, and it gets a little bit contentious. But at the end of Coach Reed's huddle, Frank went over and was tapping all the offensive linemen. That's a team player right there. That'll make us better as a football team.
And along with Frank Clark, you have to have somebody on the other side. It can't just be Frank and Chris Jones, especially if they're stacked to one side of the defense. You have to be able to pursue from the other side as well. And one guy that's kind of broken out and provided a little bit of surprise so far in this camp is Tanoh Kpassagnon.
Can you say the name again? Yeah. TK. Thanks. TK, yeah.
It seems like he's kind of working in with the ones. What have you seen from him so far?
He's a big, long athlete that's a smart football player. So you package that together, I think he's got a chance to help us in a lot of different ways. And once we figure out the best thing he does, that's where we'll try to slot him into and roll.
And Kpassagnon is somebody that was drafted as a 4-3 end, a wide 9 technique in college, somebody that feels at home in this scheme that hasn't for a bit in the scheme that the Chiefs have run for the last few years. That failed transition to outside linebacker, while he did look like he got more athletic, I don't think he ever really felt comfortable. So now he's able to put it all together and get back to his old position. I think that says a lot about what Steve Spagnuolo is bringing and what his overall philosophy is. And there's some other examples of it too that we'll get to next week, but the concept of taking what your players do well, finding what that is and refining it and building your defense around that, rather than having a scheme that you try to pigeonhole players into and really make them do the squeezing. It is a diametrically opposed concept to what we've seen in Kansas City the last few years, where the scheme was the scheme and the players had to try to adapt to it. I think that's what you're going to see as a breath of fresh air as this defense starts to gel and as the season wears on. And it's also a big positive for how well they can perform. So that's something that we're going to have to keep a very close eye on, but I am pretty optimistic. So let me know what you think. Leave your comments below how you feel about the defense right now. Leave that thumbs up if you like this particular video, and make sure you check these out, and I'll talk to you next time.